Here's how we gained over 100 degrees of mobility and transformed Haleigh's cerebral palsy presentation in 1 week without a single stretch. Her condition impacts her gait, her posture, her mobility, and can make training and even everyday tasks a challenge. This is also obviously one of the more complicated cases I've come across, which also makes it a great opportunity to showcase how this whole process works. Using our postural analysis, which you won't find anywhere else, from the front you can see her body is tilted or lateralized to the right by over 3 degrees. She has asymmetrical muscle development in her legs, a leg length discrepancy, a lower right shoulder, and a higher left hip. Viewing her left side, we can see her entire body is rotated to the right as well. On top of that, her knees are quite flexed forward by 13 degrees, and her head is leaning forward by 23 degrees, suggesting a classic sway back postural compensation strategy. But that also wasn't entirely clear, because while her lower body presented in sway back, her upper body presented as extended instead of the classic sway back sunken chest. When we tested her full body mobility, these were the most significant limitations we found. Her right shoulder only had 45 degrees of internal rotation and 20 degrees of abduction. Her pelvis had 51 degrees of right rotation. She failed hip extension. She had 24 degrees of right hip abduction, 35 degrees straight leg raise on the left side, right hip internal rotation of 12 degrees, and external rotation of 13 degrees. She scored better grounding on the left, which is uncommon, but when we went to the regular protocol of trying out the sideline grounding drill, things didn't go as planned. Her scores didn't improve at all or actually got worse. So we just flipped her over, tried the other side, and saw immediate improvements. We gained 5 degrees in shoulder abduction, 11 degrees in internal rotation, nearly 20 degrees in her straight leg raise, just from having her lie on her side and do controlled breathing drills. These results were promising, but could she keep them? To find out, we performed a simple walking test. Because if her foot mechanics aren't great, she's gonna lose any positive adaptations the moment she takes 10 steps off the table. Sure enough, she failed the walking test. Her mobility scores all reverted back to where they were before we started. So we checked out her feet. Sure enough, bunions. 1 foot more pronated, 1 foot more supinated, and big differences side to side in the tibial alignment. So with all that data we collected, here's the homework I gave her to do every day for a week. Before she comes back in, we see if anything's changed. Haleigh's right foot arch was higher than the left, so we started with the lacrosse ball to release it and facilitate a little bit more play in her arch. To address her bunions, we got her doing isolated big toe extensions with the wild toes band, followed by big toe and foot mobilizations to restore proper foot mechanics. Then we worked on combining tibial rotation with all 3 foot contacts grounded using the band. Then I had her perform the foot pronation drill to restore her arch's ability to rise and fall as needed in regular gait. And finally, we used the wedges to drive proper foot supination with hip internal rotation, since she had basically none on the right side. So now with her feet working better, we're in a position to actually keep some of the progress we're aiming to get in the breathing positional drills. So we started off with a lateral hip decompression on the foam roller to create some more space in her pelvis for her femurs to move around better. Then the table supported hinge so we can open up some space for hip flexion so she can do a proper deadlift. By the way, if you don't have 70 degrees of hip flexion, you probably shouldn't be heavy deadlifting at all. You're gonna injure yourself because you can't actually get into the position necessary. Then the supine chest opener to open up some space in her rib cage for her shoulders to move better. And finally, once again, the right sideline grounding drill to get her body feeling comfortable, safe, and relaxed, grounding on that right foot. After a week of doing her homework, Haleigh came in to retest her range of motion. Here's what we found. Right shoulder internal rotation, up 11 degrees. Right shoulder abduction, up 15 degrees. Right pelvis rotation, up 14 degrees. Hip extension. Wow. That's way better.
That feels better from last time.
Right hip abduction, gained 10 degrees. Left straight leg raise, up 21 degrees. Right hip internal rotation, up 8 degrees. Right hip external rotation, up 11 degrees. In 1 week, Haleigh gained over 100 degrees of lasting mobility and postural correction without a single stretch, and got her feet working and feeling better. That 3 degrees right lateralized tilt has almost completely disappeared, which is insane. You can see in her after photos, her hips, rib cage, and head are much better stacked vertically. Her forward head tilt improved from 23 degrees to 15, her knees from 13 degrees to 10, and we brought her entire center of gravity back from over her toes to over midfoot. And this was only phase 1 of 3, where we just mainly addressed her sway back global compensation pattern. In phase 2, we focus a bit more on unwinding strengthening her posture so she can better occupy and move out of her left side. Then we switch over to promoting better occupancy of her right side. Obviously, postural correction can't undo cerebral palsy. Breath drills and smart isometrics are not magic. But what this example shows is that anyone can benefit from this approach no matter the cards you're dealt. Some people are going to need some extra footwork. Some people might need a little osteo or chiro or massage before this stuff starts working. But no matter who you are, getting your body to relax in a stacked position where it can learn to expand and contract fully as you breathe, as you walk, you will get results if you put the effort in. Now, if you want to change your posture and mobility and get rid of aches and pains, come by for a zero-risk 3-session tune-up for only $199 with a money-back guarantee. So if you get no results, there's no sweat.